Welcome to another episode of Licensed RPGs, where I review games based on books, movies, TV shows, comics, and so much more. In today's outing, I'll be taking a look at Jesus Christ RPG, the second game in the Jesus Christ RPG trilogy, and the one that covers the formation of his ministry and concludes with his victory over the Prince of Darkness himself. On the story side of things, the game is rather simplistic, to be honest, with you leaving home to become the Messiah, and along your journey you'll recruit all 12 of the Apostles along with Mary Magdalene, and perform multiple miracles. And of course, this game does return with the humor that made the first game so enjoyable, which is a definite selling point, because this game isn't very long, clocking in at around an hour or less. On the downside, this game suffers from most of the flaws that plagued the last game. The playable characters and enemies hit for far too much damage, which results in most battles being rather quick, one-sided affairs once you have a full party of characters. On the plus side, the game does include defensive equipment for some of the playable characters, but half the characters are used to using the most basic of clothes to defend themselves, which is to say they start with casual clothes and are stuck with them. I'll also be honest in saying that running around to recruit all the Apostles feels like a rather mundane chore, and adds little to the game, if anything. It just seems like it would have been easier to attach the recruitment to performing miracles or something. Instead, you merely run around and talk with all of them, which means you'll need to investigate every street corner and house in order to find them. Though the greatest flaw of this game is if you level up Jesus to the maximum level and run around performing all the miracles early on like I did, you'll be forced into the final battle just after recruiting Mary, which means most of your characters will be underleveled and useless. It just seems like a poor design decision to lock a player into the final battle in this manner, since it is possible to be trapped in a situation where the final boss is unbeatable. On the other hand, if your party is properly leveled up, the final boss battle is probably too easy. It's a strange sort of mix where this game never feels like it captures the proper balance in terms of difficulty. It's either too easy or too hard. Graphically and sound-wise, this game is on par with the previous game in the series, which leaves me little room or need to go into details if you've seen my review of the Baby Jesus Christ RPG. In short, the game should be praised for its original sprite work, but also suffers from it looking like something whipped up in paint in a few minutes, but also lacking a diverse soundtrack. Albeit the soundtrack issues are still minor since the game is so short. Jesus Christ RPG does make a few steps in the right direction with the inclusion of actual defensive equipment, but still suffers from almost all the other flaws of the Baby Jesus Christ RPG, along with adding a new issue on top of its final boss battle. On the other hand, if you are aware of the issues with this game, it can be a rather enjoyable distraction for an hour or so.